Here we go. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
This is Gary's Guitar Talk. This is Gary. I'm Mark. And no, you're moving the wrong way. You looked at the screen.
You talk.
Okay, I'm going to talk. Gary wants our special guest to be seen.
Yeah. Ignore this.
Yeah. Thanks for actually. No, you're still out of whack though. I guess. All right. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for your patience, and we're going to need a little more patience as well as we go along, because here at the store we have some lessons that are going late, and so it's going to take a little time to. They're going to have to clear out at some point here, and there's going to be a big kerfuffle. Anyways, we're here to talk about guitars, guitar repair, amplifiers, pedals, whatever you want to talk about. For those of you who are new here, just say hi in the chat, in the live chat, or even if it's not live chat. Most people watch after the fact.
Sure.
Yeah. And so...
at least half the world is asleep right now.
Yeah. And so, but just say hi, just so we know you're out there. And we got some regulars out there already chiming in. Northwest Arkansas, that's cool. That'd be a place I'd like to visit, probably. Never been there.
I have a nephew there.
Yeah. So if you have a question about anything, just put it in the chat, and we'll talk about what you want to talk about. If you want to add to something that we're talking about, put that in the chat, and we'll just, we'll be following the chat here on a tablet. And I actually have something here. I'm not just shoegazing when I'm doing this.
Mark, the camera's over there.
Yeah. So, Kittery, Jonathan and Kittery. Wow, that's a ways. Yeah.
I wonder who that could be.
Yonan. Robert Bennett from Florida is a regular. Joe, Doug, Michael, Barry, JK. So, thanks for joining on. Let's talk about, so what we usually do to kick it off is just give some of our topics. And I guess, mine is, this is something that I made a video about a couple of weeks ago, and it really just, it's something I end up explaining a lot. And so, I tell people, hey, I made a video, go watch it, but let's just talk about guitar intonation. We've done it enough, but still, it doesn't quite get through to people. Intonation is checking, basically at the octave. We check to make sure the octave is as close to the open string as possible.
Yeah.
And then every other note on the way is going to be out of tune.
Yeah, to some degree.
So if you're like, hey, I'm hitting my B, and so the E's open and the B's out of tune on the 7th fret. What's going on? And my intonation's off. I said, no, your intonation's right, because the B's just a little, especially everyone's got a tuner now, and some people will sit and torture themselves with a tuner, checking every note all the way up the neck.
Yeah, I got this. I got the G on the low E string, but when I get up to the C, it's out of intonation. So I fix that, and then the G's out.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
Yeah,
it's frets. It's frets. Take the frets out.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Or just, it's just an imperfect mathematical. And we all know that pianos are tempered.
Right.
But guitars can be, people temper guitars a bit too. They're like, well, I know that, if I do my D chord will sound right if I do this a little flat. Or some people will play a D chord just and that's micro correct for that. And they go, okay, if that's in, and then that's in, and they'll play a couple chords. But yeah, we just get, a lot of people who just really, maybe it's something with the 21st century. A lot of people just constantly double checking.
Intonation police.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. Well, it's a guitar. Find me a perfect guitar.
If a guitar is different. Yeah. Hey, Chris Taketo's out there. He says hi.
Hey, Chris.
Okay. Here's a question that Chris can chime in on as well, because Chris is a recording engineer.
Yeah.
What home recording software would you recommend that doesn't break the bank? So
sounds like Greek to me, but
yeah. Well, recording software is something you don't use.
Right.
I would. So I don't own Apple computers. If you have an Apple computer, just use GarageBand, and if GarageBand isn't robust enough, move up to Logic Pro. It's acceptable. It's an industry, it's an industry thing where professional studios will use it.
Pro Tools is not for Apple?
Pro Tools is, but Pro Tools, they want you to subscribe pay them $20 a
so-
month, or you can buy it outright for $1,000. It's
Right.
real money,
Right.
and it's a little less intuitive because the Logic Pro is a pro version of what GarageBand is, so you can kind of learn on GarageBand and step up to the more robust situation. Pro Tools is the standard. I love it. I've been using it for years. I've tried to replace it. I've tried other software. I've worked in Logic Pro a little bit because I had clients who had stuff in Logic Pro and wanted to, finish it up. It's all right. Everything's kind of okay. Your interface, good news. The interface doesn't matter as much as it used to. It used to be like, oh man, you got to get something better than this. The Focusrite thing is fine.
They're all fine now.
They're all okay. I have an M Audio one at home, and
I even know that name.
M Audio, yeah,
They've been around
I've
for
heard
a
of them.
while,
Yeah, yeah. M was MIDI Man. Michael Krause's Reaper, and Chris said Reaper too. Yeah, Reaper is super cheap. It's by donation, kind of. If you're not a professional, they're like, give us $30-something, please.
Yeah.
So you can try it for free. They hit you up for a little money, and if you're pro, you're supposed to pay a bigger bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's very powerful, very robust, and it's one of the things that I tried replacing Pro Tools with. I'm like, this is great, Reaper, that's cool, It's like open sourcey kind of thing, but also like, it had 32-bit float, which Pro Tools might still not have. It had like all these features. And I was like, okay, I took a bunch of waves that were recorded in Pro Tools and I moved them to Reaper and I did a mix on it. And I just A-B'd it back with my Pro Tools mix of the same song. And it was like, I guess I'm going to stick with the Pro Tools.
Oh.
Just 5 or 10% better. It may, so. But like I said, everything is okay. And so Reaper is a good alternative because it's less locked into, hardware-wise. It seems to like work with anything, and it's less like, so if you're running Pro Tools, you have to have a Pro Tools certified computer, which is not your MacBook Air or but any MacBook Pro can kind of do it. But also, if you're on the PC side, it really has to be like something Pro Tools says it will run on. Bit 32 butt floating, bit floating, yes. 32, and then Chris gets. I'm joking about it. Yeah.
What's your butt rate?
Yeah. My 24. I had a 24 butt rate, but I stepped up to 36. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of recording talk. Because you record with guitar. But the good news is everything's kind of okay. And that didn't used to be. And so the only software, I hate to report, the only musical recording software I've ever used where I thought the recording was inferior because of the software was, hold on, the free one that everyone uses, their Audacity. Audacity was like, oh, this is simple and it's free and it's recording, and yeah. It's the only thing I ever did something in, and I'm like, that would have been better if I didn't use Audacity. Even if I used Adobe Audition, which I tried that too. I tried replacing it with Adobe Audition, Pro Tools. Did a mix in Audition. Audition was bought by, and this is too much information for most of you probably. Audition was originally Cool Edit Pro, which I actually had used when it was Cool Edit Pro. Adobe bought it so they could get an edge on making an audio editor. And I had Adobe Audition. I had high hopes for it, and you just can't beat you gotta trust your ears. Same thing with guitars. You gotta trust your ears. Just because someone tells you need a Taylor doesn't mean you need a Taylor. But if you hear a Taylor and you like it better, then that's a thing too.
Well, I was going to say, it sounds like Asian guitars. They're all okay now.
Yeah, it's one of our students leaving. See you later. Yeah, same thing with guitar. They're all okay. And some people find a gem.
Oh, yeah, every once in a while. Yeah.
And
the great $300 guitar.
Yeah. There's like, hey, and they existed in the past. So it's just kind of trust your ears.
Right.
I've been working with the PreSonus thing, and that one was pretty great too. I guess PreSonus has a software editing based thing. I have some PreSonus hardware. I like it fine. People give PreSonus a little grief, and that it doesn't deserve. People are, I have an Apogee PreSonus. But that goes back to all this, the sample, it's all gotten fine, all that gear. something else I was going to mention. Recording. Oh yeah, trust your ears.
Right.
Studio One is what they call it in PreSonus. Oh, and yeah, I tried Harrison Mix Bus. So some of you may or may not know, I do sell studio quality microphones in a whole other business. It's called Microphone Boutique. There's a .com if you want to look it up. Sell mostly on eBay and Reverb, and have a few things in the store you can try out if you want, studio quality microphones. But one of my clients there who buys a lot of high-end mics was like, "You got to try Harrison Mix Bus. It is the best audio editor I think, and like you got." And I did. I tried it, and it was almost as good as Pro Tools. And you just like what you're used to. Hi guys from KCMO.
Hi, Casey. M-O.
No, KCMO. I don't know
from
what that is.
Casey, Kansas City, Missouri.
Maybe. Oh yeah, right. Kansas City. I was just there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
A sleepy little town.
Anyone? Oh, it's. I kind of like it. They got an incredible museum, a great concert hall, and all that kind of like the Atkins Museum there. It's just like it's worth the flight. And here's the thing: the flight from Boston to Kansas City on a weekday is $200 round trip.
Round trip.
So you could go there, go to the museum, go catch a concert, stay overnight, come back. It would be like you get some barbecue, of course.
See the Royals.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone know anything about Arnold Hoyer acoustic parlor guitars? I got one and I can't ID. It's from 1964. I'm the third owner.
Hoyer.
Hoyer. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't find any pics like that. Help. Thanks for being here. Well, thank you, Jeff. And if Mike Endicott is out there or he shows up, he'd be a good candidate. He's one of our regulars. He used to work with Gary years ago, so he might know Hoyer. You know Hoyer?
There was a German guitar line. They were called Hoyer. This was just around World War II.
Probably post.
Probably won't. I only know about them because I used to have a customer who had, at the time, the biggest collection of guitars of anybody I knew.
Mm-hmm.
It was well over 200. And he had a Hoyer Bianca, which was white, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it was made during fascist Nazi Germany.
No, that's the white.
So, of course, it's white.
I
don't think I ever saw it. But, yeah, that was a Hoyer.
Yeah.
So
it's
it could be
German
an old German
company?
guitar.
Yeah.
I think they might have been around through the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
What happened
Not
after
positive I ever saw one. And other than the Bianca, I would have probably never heard of them. But that was the Nazi guitar.
Oh, dear God. So an Arnold Hoyer acoustic parlor. Okay.
Arnold, I don't know if maybe.
His name is Arnold. I don't know. From 64, he thought it was. Can't find any pics.
Could be.
So that's kind of a hint.
Yeah, look in German guitars, 40s, 50s. They might have, I think they went back to the 30s even.
Yeah.
The guitar was pretty popular in Germany and before World War II.
Yeah.
It was a big acoustic music thing there.
Well, Hofner originally started making upright basses in the late, and of course, the acoustic instrument making in kind of Germany and Bavarian Germany and Austria-Hungary Empire and all that, just unparalleled. So, Hungary. The Mike in Hungary says, I think Segovia played a Hoyer. Wow.
Well, hi, Mike.
How's it going, Mike? Any recommendations on a home practice bass amp that sounds good and not too pricey? The Fender Rumble 40. The 40 would be the home one. Don't get the 25. 25 is no good. 15 is no good. 40 is great. 100 is great. It might be a 10-inch,
but still good.
But it's not. But the problem is with the 25 or the 15, they're just too small. They just don't. They don't work right as a bass amp.
Right. There was a predecessor. You remember what was it called? The Bassman 25 or 15 or something? Mm-hmm. It was a little square thing, tilt back cabinet. I think it was a 10, 15, or 25 watts.
So it's kind of like that Ampeg that I have. But
they had at the same time.
Yeah.
They were both shockingly good
So
sounding.
I have an Ampeg BA10, which is the 10-inch speaker. BA is for bass amp, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And I ended up swapping the speaker on it, and it sounds even better. And I love the Fender Rumble 100, and I brought it into the store thinking I'm going to sell my Ampeg and get the Fender Rumble instead.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way, though. It is. I guess Kurt is already gone because there's no more
Kurt's
noise
gone.
back there. All right, have a good night. So Lamana's just left. I'll get the door.
Okay.
See you tomorrow, brother.
See you tomorrow, yeah.
Oh. How's things in Hungary, Mike? Haven't chatted in a
Fascist
while.
regimes. Oops, no politics. Sorry. Okay. That's. So also, we're back to the topic of Reaper. Guitar Nerd says it's been using for 15 years, never paid for an upgrade. So been using the same. I think Reaper was I think the cornerstone of Reaper it's kind of like some kind of Linux based. It's just kind of based on a whole other programming language that just makes it work better, more efficient. Because all the thing about Pro Tools is it's demanding on your computer and tubby, and this always stays demanding, no matter like as computers get faster and have more memory, and also Pro Tools gets more demanding. So not unlike your spouse, you get spend more money and it gets more demanding. So combo practice bass amp, definitely I'd say that the Rumble's great. Yeah, and we got a couple of them here. We got the Rumble, what they call Studio, which has a bunch of DI outs and some other modeling things built in, and just the regular Rumble is like $250 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. You can play gigs with that. I saw someone play. Actually, he showed up a jazz bass player playing upright. Showed up with a Rumble 40 at the dance hall.
And it was okay.
It was fine.
Oh.
Took the DI out of it too, and he liked he had it set really weird, so it worked for upright. But it sounded great. So can't argue with that.
Yeah, I've not heard any bad reports about them.
The Rumble 100 has a 12-inch speaker, by the way. Michael was just asked if it has a 10. So I believe it's the 40 has a 10, a 12-inch in the 100, and a 15 in the 200 and 500. Hello from Sydney, James. Hello, welcome back. Mike says when Segovia had to retire, his Hoyer in the 60s, it made the milestones column of Time magazine, sort of an obituary.
For his guitar.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the Ampeg Rocket bass amps? Yeah, stay away.
I don't remember liking those.
The problem is with the new Rockets.
So
they have a new series called Rocket, which is essentially their version of the Fender Rumble.
Yeah.
They sound good, but we've had several come in for repair.
Oh.
That couldn't be repaired. It's shocking that they've been around for a year. So Ampeg is now owned by Yamaha?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody weird about them.
They got bought up. And so they're probably made in the same factory that makes the Rumbles. I don't know. But software wise or something, they're just not they're failing a little too often. We had someone bought the new Ampeg head, because everyone's making a really tiny head. The Rumble has a tiny head too. Right. And he had it in 3 times to repair, twice to someone else, and then brought it to us. And Paul's like, I got it working, but I can't warranty it because the thing keeps blowing up. Someone owns a Rumble 350. Okay, I thought it was 300. Okay, 350. So Rocket bass amps. If you got one, hold on to it. It's probably going to be okay. But I would do the Rumble over the Rocket. Essentially the same thing, but we find the dependability on the Rumble is better.
Yeah, nothing's come back with problems, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, Rumbles, and they leave and they don't come back. And it's the most popular bass amp we sell now.
Yeah.
Everyone loves combos for bass. We got a couple of great 4x10 cabs here. Nobody wants them.
Too big.
Bass heads. Nobody wants them. Someone wanted to sell an SVT here. I was like,
guitar players all want 25 watts or less. Bass players want 50 watts. That's quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, the Rumble 100 is 100, and that's fine. That the guy who plays with me in my band uses one.
Well, that used to be just barely enough.
Yeah. But everyone wants gigs quieter, but also gigs everywhere you go. There's PAs, and they got 10,000 watt PAs on all these venues, and you just plug into that.
Hope the guy running it knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Either way. What is your favorite guitar in the shop currently? What's your favorite guitar in the shop?
The 175 might be it. I mean,
175 that's a whole
pretty
lot of
good.
classic.
I just like
So
working
Gibson
on it.
175 from 68, 67, yep. Yeah, the Les Paul Deluxe. Yeah, that's pretty minty, pretty beautiful. Gold top. I think we showed it on here before.
Right.
You can check it out on the site. It's gold top. It's 100%. Not a screw has been changed on it. No fret wear. The damn plastic saddles are fine. The bridge hasn't sunk in. It's just an exemplary, Gibson. So it's a deluxe. I actually have a deluxe too, and I like the deluxe. You can swap one of the mini humbuckers for a P90, which is what I did. So you get a variety of sounds out of it, and you can do the in-between sounds really good with that. You get the humbucking with a little extra oomph from the P90 in the neck. You can blend it in, or you can just put P90 because the mini humbucker and a P90, the mini humbucker ring is a P90 cover. So they fit in the same spot.
Yeah, I could see the hole would be the right size.
Yeah, the hole that they fit in, the way the screws go in is different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mini humbucker has a really weird mount. But
yeah, especially that one's got what they call the oops rings or the boo-boo rings on that gold top there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike saying hi back to Chris. That's good. A couple of old friends saying hi because Chris, Mike and Chris have known each other since Chris was that Decato kid. That Decato kid plays so fast, you can't even hear him. That's the Bobby the Hearn quote. That Decato kid plays so effing fast, you can't even effing hear him. So that Decato kid, yeah.
That's the guy who had a neck that was so effing fast, he couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, right. Just a wealth of wisdom. The Yogi Berra-isms kind of came out of that guy's mouth. This neck's so fast, I can't keep up with it. And then also famously, his number one guitar later in life was one of the Gibsons that everyone hated. Remember the flat top Gibson Les Paul? He had one of those, and then he had the guitar with all the holes.
Yeah, that was a Hondo.
Yeah, it was a Hondo.
Memphis.
He had a
Memphis.
I don't know, it was a Hondo, but anyway, so he loved Lenny Barreau, right? And he had heard that his guitar was exceptionally light. He loved Danny Gatton. His guitar was exceptionally light. So he thought, I need to make this guitar lighter. So he grabbed a one inch hole cutter and just went at it. I don't think it was a hole cutter. I think it was just the largest drill bit he could find.
Well, they were pretty big.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a half inch, but
he drilled,
like
Swiss cheesed it.
15 holes.
Even more. And the sides and the back, anywhere that didn't hit something.
Right.
He just took guitar out of it. And just to lighten it up. So that's a thing. Chris says, Miss Bobby, the Hondo, yeah. Holes filled with Bondo to put air in the sound, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he might have filled, he's a classic from around here. All right, so we caught up. What's that solid state Fender amp behind you? It looks like a PA head. I'm glad you asked.
Somebody finally noticed it. Who can tell us what it is?
Have a look. I guess we can.
Bought it from a guy last week. I didn't tell Mark this because it's his money, but after I paid for it, the guy said, "Oh, thanks. That's great. Yeah. I got it at Goodwill."
Yeah.
Like, oops. He was smart. He didn't tell me that first.
Yeah, it looks like something that someone's dad had in the basement, kind of thing.
It's a 1968 Fender Super Reverb.
Yep.
Highly desirable amp, right?
Yeah, Super Reverb.
Oh, except
60s?
What's that mean? Solid
state.
state. What's that?
Looks a little weird. It doesn't look like a Super Reverb. It was a radical departure for Fender.
This was the first Fender solid state line. There were 3 or 4 of them. The famous guitar store story is Fender, pretty much unannounced, just sort of started sending their dealers their new solid state amps because solid state is better.
Yeah, CBS, great, we can make these cheaper.
Right.
We're all in.
Yep. And I'm thinking it was probably more than half of the dealers that got them, plugged them in, and sent them back. Said, nah, no thanks.
No.
Send me some more deluxe reverbs. So they didn't make many, but I think they hung in there for a few years. I think I've heard of like 72 solid state Fenders.
But that was a solid state was a marketing. This is solid state.
It's way better than tubes.
Yeah.
It never fails.
Yeah.
It sounds better. It doesn't heat up. Oh, it's so superior to tubes.
Yeah.
To everybody in the world except guitar players.
Right.
So
yeah, the guitar players just you use your ears. Yeah.
there's not many out there.
So having said all that, and so someone just chimed in. Jimmy said, "Stupidest thing Fender ever did." That's a tough one because there's been a lot of stupid things that Fender's ever done. This was in the era, and I'd like to remind people, if you saw the Get Back, documentary, how all the Beatles were standing around in a couple of scenes, just marveling at how wonderful all the new Fender stuff was. They got Fender outfitted them with all new everything,
right,
including a Rhodes. And they were standing, when Billy Preston was playing the Rhodes, or they were, the Rhodes in the studio, and Billy showed up. And they were standing pointing at it, and George was like, "Yeah, John's got one of these at home, but the new ones are better. This thing sounds great." Maybe because Billy Preston was playing.
Oh, yeah.
But and then George had the guitar, the solid state guitar Leslie.
Yeah.
That was introduced on Let It Be. And they had twin reverbs,
Yeah.
And Paul had the Bassman, which I think it was probably the tube Bassman, which was sounding terrible the whole time because he was playing bass through it.
Right.
Yeah. Saw the Beatles using Fender Solid State on the Get Back movie. I don't know if they had Solid State.
Say there was one of those in the background.
Yeah, there probably was one of those in there because they were like, you got to, they're doing product placement kind of things. When Fender gave them all the stuff, like, here, take this one too, because the Leslie they had was Solid State, but they were marveling over this stuff. Wow, this is innovative and new. This is cool.
Right.
And I plugged it in, tried it out. The amp is okay.
It has a single 15, by the way.
Yeah, 115, which is weird for super reverb, but they had a 410 version as well.
Oh yeah, I think there was it 212? No, there were 3 different versions with 15, 212s, or 210s maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the Pro and I forget, but I never thought much about it.
Yeah, until one washed up on the shores here.
Maybe 3 over the years.
Yeah.
Not many around. So,
but it's kind of okay. So now we got to figure out what to do. First, I got to fix the reverb.
Right.
So I thought it was just the switch wasn't, but I mean the vibrato works with the switch plugged in. The reverb didn't. It's got a pan.
Yet?
No, it didn't do any of that.
Just be unplugged.
There's something come unplugged. A rat could have eaten the wire on the pan, or the pan could have gone bad. Pans go bad, more regularly than anything. So it could be an easy fix, and then we'll have it for sale, I guess. Or it's going to go in the museum. Could go up on the shelf.
Yeah, it's time to. Those have been up there a long time.
I got the McAfee guitars. We're gazing up. If anyone knows the store, above the string display, there's a bunch of old plastic guitars, McAfee's mostly.
Somebody told me last week they have a plastic mandolin, maybe.
Yeah,
from that same area. He said, "Oh, it kind of looks like those. I'll bring it in. You can have it." Okay.
That's how. Yeah. That's like when the first time I met Steve Rowley, he called me up on the phone. "I hear you're the person people give Mercedes to." I have one. You can have it. So if you have things, and then when we had 3 Gibson 175s in here, 125s. Right. Someone came in and goes like, "I see you sell Gibson 125s.
Another one?
Sell mine." Yeah. And so it was like, if you got, you're the guys who do this.
Right.
And that was the guy who had the one. He's the original owner. He bought it in '58. Right. Had the receipt for it.
Right. In
the case. Should have kept that, man. That was a good one. That's some provenance, or whatever we call that. Stupidest thing Fender ever did was to sell to CBS. Okay.
That's what popped into my mind.
Well, the stupidest thing Leo Fender did himself. Fender as a company. But, there is the part of the story where Leo was overwhelmed and he was ill. He was having some health problems. And he just couldn't keep up with production, and CBS seemed to be.
Well, it's the Beatles' fault. That's the bottom line for me.
Guitar, so
1963, popular, they built 5,000 in quote unquote great guitars, 64, they were going along okay, and then all of a sudden the Beatles showed up and they had 100,000 orders. We can't build that many great guitars in a year, and he tried his best, and never mind.
So he was
sold the
overwhelmed.
company.
And CBS, it wasn't just Fender. CBS bought several musical instrument companies in the late 60s, including Hammond and Leslie. He put Leslie in with Fender for a while. And Baldwin pianos.
I was going to say, you don't want to put Hammond and Leslie in the same room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They did not like each other.
Yeah, Mr. Hammond and Mr. and Leslie did not like each other. But the companies eventually got merged. And
Right.
so, and the reason was CBS thought, because CBS was the television, Columbia Broadcasting, the television company, and they wanted synergy. And they thought they got in the musical instrument business because musical instruments were really popular. They would have all the amplifiers in their TV, and pianos would be Baldwin, and the amplifiers would be Fender, and there would be this kind of like we could sell this stuff through marketing on our own.
Oh, that's what they do on
platform.
TV shows now, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Product placement.
yeah. So like, why does everyone on American Idol play weird guitar? The same.
They're all playing Jacksons. What happened?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like a product placement thing. And so CBS thought like, hey, let's get into. And it was a mistake because they just weren't good at, they couldn't scale up right and get the synergy and the companies working together. It was a good-ish idea, I guess. But
I have a controversial worst thing Fender ever did. The Jazzmaster.
Jazzmaster. Yeah, that is going to be controversial. Yeah. First of all, there's no playing jazz on it.
Well, it is poorly named, yes.
So, people who do play jazz on a Jazzmaster do it out of spite.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You can play jazz on anything. But
I think the idea was having the other set of controls that were kind of darker sounding. You can you throw a switch and it sounds like jazz.
there's a whole other sound.
Yeah. Or in a sound that's darker.
Right.
Even all the way up, those tone
Yeah.
controls sound darker.
Yeah, I think he just reached too far. He had the Strat. He said,
Yeah.
we can go further with this and
And
make
no.
this tremolo system that doesn't work.
Yeah, the
And
tremolo
bridge
system is a
that
terrible
moves and it's
idea.
never in
And the
tune.
bridge that never intonates because it's just in its
no
different.
pressure on it.
Yeah.
And then let's make it our most expensive guitar, even though it's the worst thing we make.
Mickey Baker played jazz on Jazzmaster and more. Yes, you just have to be exceptionally talented to get the guy. Is it Nils Klein? No, not Nils Klein, the dude who plays with Wilco as well. He's a jazz player.
It's not Nils?
Is it?
No.
Niles. He's Niles. Nils is Lofgren. He's Niles. Niles. Yeah.
Okay.
And the phone's ringing. He plays the Jazzmaster, loves it. Yeah, I was just kind of exaggerating to make a point. It's not really a jazz instrument, You can play jazz on a Telecaster. Then Leo, the manufacturers. Okay, here's a good point that James mentioned, and I'll get back to it in a second. Leo changed doctors after the sale, and he got his health back. Yeah. So maybe you're saying CBS had to fix in. They want to convince this guy that he was gonna that he was sick and that he'd sell, and then after that. Started Music Man. Yeah, Music Man, guitars.
Amps first.
Yeah, amps and,
that was the first new Leo
super,
stuff.
super reputable. And someone on the phone doesn't know how to give up.
Don't you have the answering machine?
No, I got the answering machine turned off. People would just start. We had an answering machine where people were like, hey, I got a Telecaster and I got this thing and it needs, people like to explain things way too much, would also like to leave messages. So it'd be like 3 minutes of I was wondering if you could,
Right.
Hey, my guitar doesn't intonate on every fret on every string, and then I think it's because
Or my favorite. I just got a quick question.
Yeah.
Well, let me sit down. This is going to take a while.
So back to James was asking, manufacturers selling directly to the public. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
It's at first it seemed like a stab in the back.
Yeah, for stores, especially. Yeah.
We've been following their requirements for years. You want to be a dealer, you have to stock so many guitars, and then you can't sell them, advertise them for less than this price. And okay, we'll do whatever you want. Used to way back when it used to be you bought pretty much whatever you wanted and you sold it for whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it doesn't sell, you don't order anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't sell it and make a profit, you don't order anymore. And then it just got tighter and tighter. And then all of a sudden, oh, now we're competing with you.
Yeah.
So now your price is the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
So we could go lower, maybe,
but you can't
won't-
advertise it.
But you'll take the dealership away.
Yeah.
And you have every model in every color with every feature. And we have 6 Strats.
And you get it first. Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, with Fender, the Fender sales team like to tell me, like, our site is designed to move customers to the stores. And it does, it does tell you,
right,
like, you want a Strat, call Gary's Guitars if you're in this area. It is slightly sophisticated in that.
Yeah.
And Fender's really good at the map thing. Like, everyone sells for map. So, look, it's not like Guitar Center is really undercutting us too hard or whatever, or they themselves on their site, other than when they have sales. They suddenly decide to have a sale, and then we're just left like, oops. So let's look at this beautiful guitar. Let's see. There's no.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. This came up about a year ago.
The 40th anniversary Squier Jazzmaster.
Right.
This thing is beautiful. I think we paid $400 for it, and then we had it shipped here and all that, set it up, put it out on the floor, and it's supposed to sell for $599. So basically, when you sell a guitar from Fender, you net anywhere between 40 and 30% of the proceeds. So if we sell something for $100, we make $30 or $40 on it, and that's the way it is. Oh well, you want to play, you got to play. But then Fender decides to put these on sale. One tradition we have here, this goes back to when Gary started many years ago, is we sell everything with at least a bag.
Right.
Because you're going to have something to put it in. It just seems like the right thing. And back when bags cost $10,
right,
that was all right. You just give them a bag too. Now retail on a bag is $30 and cost is $22 or something. And so it's a little. So we give a bag with this, and Fender decides to knock $100 off the price.
Right. So now it costs.
So now it's $499.
You could make $20 on it.
Yeah, and then so someone's going to come with a credit card. That's going to be 3% off the top there. So 3% of
make $16 on this sale.
And then there's the cost of the bag. Then there's all the other costs involved in keeping the lights on and all that. So these basically Fender kind of screwed us on it.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty.
Yeah, because they decided to knock it down $100. And they didn't tell us. A customer told us, "Hey, they got this. Fender's got this on their site for $499 now." I said, oh, "Okay, thanks, Fender." They've done that a few times this year because Fender didn't have to put anything on sale for 3 years. They couldn't make enough stuff. Right, they didn't put anything on sale
during the pandemic. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, this one's on sale, and this one, just went. The new Rumble came through. It used to be, they used to be $299, then they're $350, and then they're $400 nearly. Now they're back to $350.
Oh,
no one told me or whatever, so we got it in. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they're just cheaper now, and so we just got to sell it for what everyone else sells it for, kind of. So it's a little frustrating. I used a straightening iron on my ball hair. I don't know what that's all about, but that is the weirdest comment we've ever had.
I think I know what he means, but I don't think we should talk about it.
No, I hope he's talking about the Ernie Ball. Ernie Ball Music Man. Let's see here. It's good enough for that. And his name is King of Sanity. That's even better. Anyways, he's out of the room now. Sorry to say. If it were funnier, we wouldn't have blocked you. If you're gonna make a bad joke, just make it funny, and then it's.
You blocked him?
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
yeah.
You might have been talking about Ernie Ball, but I don't think so.
No. It's probably Bob Ford and
oh well, it could be Bob. Did you ever find out why one of the our chat videos got dumped off of YouTube? Did you ever find out why?
No.
It was a couple, 3 months ago. No, it was I was
Just lost.
wanted to watch one I wasn't here and
Oh,
I
yeah,
missed,
huh,
and
huh.
it's gone.
Hmm.
It was the blank screen and the funny logo
Oh, yeah.
blocked. Or
Really?
Yeah.
Hopefully that got settled. I did go through and look at them. They're all
yeah,
there. But
probably would have been in the 70s or so.
the 1970s. We don't.
Right.
We
Oh,
didn't have
well, that was something
YouTube
else.
back
That's right.
then.
That was Howdy Doody.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Someone just wrote R.I.P. David Lindley.
Really?
Yeah, I think we just got some news.
Oh,
Man, that's a bummer.
well, they're falling fast. One of my favorite players.
Yeah. So yeah, that's but yeah, man, that's rough. Sad, but and so it goes.
Right. So we have 2 more of these left.
Oh yes, 2
We'll
more in
get
this
to 100.
season. Yes.
One next week, and then we're skipping a week.
We're
or
gonna skip a
2.
couple weeks because Gary's
I'm gonna
going
be
away. So
gone.
we got the season finale. We're gonna make you wait for it. Episode 100. We'll try to do something special. But episode 100 coming up. So not next week's 99, and then there's 2 weeks off because Gary's going away, and then like some
You
reason
got to
it
go
doesn't-
back. You're going away briefly after we get back, or
Oh
something.
yeah, no, there's a
Was
conference.
the
or
non-show
something.
in April?
No, that's in April, but that's not yet. I gotta buy tickets for that too. I already forgot.
Well, I won't be back until April.
Yeah. So yeah.
So-
No, but anyways, we're gonna stick in the 100th episode, and then take a break for a few more weeks, and then decide what to do in the future, whether it be live, whether it be not live, whether it be on a different day, whether it be a different format,
Well, that's
whether
why
it
I
be shorter or
now.
longer, more interviews, less interviews. So if anyone out there in the room who's a regular, especially, or even if you're not a regular, even if you use a
What
hair
would you
curler
you like to hear or see?
on your
You got
Ernie balls.
12 minutes.
Yeah. So just chime in and let us know if there's something in particular. The customer's always wrong, but still.
But every once in a while, they have a good idea.
Speaking of things that are wrong but a good idea, let's look at that. We have one more show
yes.
and tell for today.
All right, we were going to do we're test your guitar IQ. I'll have to look at the monitor here. Who
Okay,
can tell
Check
me
this out.
what this is? Clues are available.
Yeah, I got one clue too. So it's a Strat style body, no tremolo arm, and then a whole lot of switches.
Well, it's a hardtail. Built-in stuff.
Yeah. Auto off phase.
Unfortunately,
and
the on-off
sustain.
switch is broken, but fortunately, it's broken in the on position,
Yeah.
and it's a really weird
It
switch.
came in for repair. It came in for someone trying to sell it to us, and he wanted a little too much for it. But he wants it repaired, and we're doing that. He mentioned he saw a picture of Sly.
Sly Stone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sly playing one of
80s,
these.
I would guess.
Late 70s, I would
Maybe.
guess. But yeah, because it's well, we're about to portray it. But
This
any
is not-
guesses?
There's nothing digital in there. I can
Yeah,
tell you
any
that.
guesses? First of all, yeah, some 70s style effects.
So who knows what this is?
Baldwin? Nope, sorry.
I'll give you your first clue. Made in Japan.
Oops, so that's a big clue. Yeah, that betrays a lot. But
I'll
we
show
need
you
to-
the back of the headstock.
Looks very stratty.
Very
It
stratty.
just has that little slightly different angle there. But
Even
yeah,
the tuning machine covers are reminiscent.
it's got a bullet.
Yeah, bullet truss rod. The
More guesses, people.
it's
Greco? No, but probably made in the same factory.
Where is it? The brass nut.
A brass nut. I wonder if that's original.
I'd say so. Looks like it's been there forever. I think I was the first person to ever take the screws off.
Does
the
it
pick guard.
fly?
No.
Okay. Tysco? No, it's a little higher quality than Tysco.
I'd heard,
is pretty good.
heard of the name. I don't think I'd ever seen one.
Yeah.
When the guy told me about it, I got can you work on it? I went, yeah. What is it? And he described
So
it.
here's
I
a
went,
made in Japan that we got out in the store. This is a crest line. Let's look for that headstock.
That's a more traditional, somewhat common.
And it's very stratty, like a nice natural strat. Japanese build quality, like really high quality, and just odd little not high quality things built in, like the way this is kind of crooked on the neck plate. But the neck is phenomenal.
45 years old.
Except
and
the
it's-
router kind of jogged over there a little bit or
It
something.
seemed like a
Yeah.
whoopsie.
Yeah.
but it's in great shape. All the wood's
Condition's great.
Set up good.
Sounds great. Yeah, sets up great. Didn't need any
No.
fretwork or anything.
No.
That's the Crest line. That's not what this one is. Any other guesses? Let's go for the mystery guitar. Hoyer. Yes, Hoyer.
Yeah, it's a Hoyer.
Come around.
No.
Tokai. Probably
No.
made by Tokai.
Well,
'cause
you've
it
all
has
made good guesses,
Yeah.
but this is a
More obscure.
way less common name.
Bernie, nope. Ibanez, nope. Edwards, nope. Gaiatone, nope.
It's getting warmer.
Yeah. It's something that.
Should we show them?
I think we're almost ready. Are you ready for the reveal, folks? I think so. They stopped putting in guesses.
Okay.
All right.
I'll get this because you got to see the whole
Dun,
thing. here.
dun, dun.
Get the light
closer,
right.
closer.
Yep.
There you go. Oops. And then over.
That says fresher, straighter.
The Fresher Straighter. Obviously a Fender inspired. And
And
this
say
is
what that says.
Protein Series. Protein Series. Someone just got a dictionary. And what does or cookbook? Okay, we got protein, we got fresh, and we got straight. Like its own. Cut your vegetables straight.
We'll use the Fender script and fonts, and everybody will.
I've heard of those. All right.
Yeah.
Samick. No, Samick was mostly Korean made.
Korean. Later.
And then Samick went to using a third-party country manufacturing as well. I think they had some Indonesian and stuff.
Oh, yeah. There were some Chinese Samics.
Yeah, it's Chinese Samics around too. Yeah.
Let's see. That's the rare guitar.
Oh, so let's see let's see that again for a second, because this, whatever the phase thing, sounded tremendous.
Oh, the phase is pretty good phaser, and the Ottawa is pretty hard to get a handle on, but it's kind of cool. The distortion's pretty awful.
Yeah.
But the phaser was like, that's not a bad phaser.
Slightly, really nice feel to the neck, like a made in Japan Fender. So maybe it could be Fuji, because that neck is just kind of reminiscent of that for me. And could be a plywood body. Didn't really look so. Sometimes you can see the plies.
I don't think so. I had the pick guard off.
It's solid, yeah.
There's some scary stuff in there, but I usually notice when it's plywood, and I didn't.
And some of the early Kramers that were ply and stuff like that.
I see it every once in a while. It's pretty low endy.
Yeah, they just didn't know where they could cut corners. I have a plywood guitar. It's a sounds great. It's a Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and that was a store brand kind of thing, and plywood, pretty light. And remember the lobster caster that came through here about 2 or 3 years ago? It was a Stratocaster that had a lobster on it. So we left
a lobster on it. I'm trying to picture a guitar that looks like a lobster.
No, it's a Stratocaster. It was a Fender brand. I think it was Fender branded, not Squier branded. Made in Korea. And it was kind of like the JB Player, whatever. What I just say, a Grand Prix kind of quality of guitar. Right. It could have been a Squier. I actually looking back on it. I think it said Squier by Fender. You know how they used to actually. So basically, whether or not Fender is proud of the guitar is where they put the Fender name. And if it's a Squier by Fender, it's a nice guitar. If it's a Squier and then Fender on the back of the headstock, you got to start to wonder. So that is not ours for sale, but the owner would want to sell it if someone. But he wanted. I tried to make a deal with him on it. I was thinking, sale price $700. That'd be good. So we'd have to buy it for $4 or $5. He wasn't really having it. He thinks it's worth more. So he might be looking for more, like 12 or something. Which people ask for all sorts of money for rare guitars. So sure, why not? All right. We did get a nice message here.
Yes.
Hold on. I have a state-of-the-art brand Strat copy. Have you heard of state-of-the-art?
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Someone said, who was it who said this? So MJP says, keep it live. We want Gary from Auckland, New Zealand at lunchtime. Thursday. So it's Thursday. It's lunchtime.
Thank
and
you.
You got fans. Yes.
Auckland. I'd love to come to lunch in Auckland.
Yeah. We'll just go. We'll do a live.
How long
there.
is that flight?
20 hours,
6
probably.
hours?
I don't know. It's on the other side of the world.
That might be the round the world cruise.
I think it's closer to fly to the moon than to fly to Auckland. I think you can get to the moon about this,
about the same.
Yeah, about the same time to get to the moon.
Yeah, but what are you going to eat when you get there?
Cheese, obviously.
Well, of course. But it's a Stilton, I think.
Yes. What does it weigh? The body's slightly heavy.
Yeah, but it's
kind of like
2 PC boards.
Oh yeah.
A metal cover.
It probably has nothing to do with
at least
the
2
wood.
9-volts in there.
Yeah.
How many pots? 2, 4, 6, 8, 7 pots. There's quite a bit of stuff in there.
Yeah. So.
And 10 yards of wire, probably. I picked it up and went, oh no, I don't want to touch anything in there.
State-of-the-art Strat is a pretty obscure, big, thick plywood body that shows off the piles, but it has the Stratius sound. Okay, yeah, plywood Strat that has a Stratius sound. That's the same thing with mine. It sounds like David Gilmour, and I don't mean to like.
Oh, your Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's great. It rips. I was as a joke. I took it out of practice.
Yeah,
and it was just like, it would sound huge, lightweight and plywood and just scream. Right. So can't argue with that. I kept it. Okay. So anyone out there? So yes, we'll have another show next week, by the way, anyone keeping score. We'll be back next week. Sorry we weren't here last week. I was out of town and Gary doesn't know how to run the camera by himself.
I'm not touching that thing.
And next week we'll be back. And then Gary's going to Florida for a couple weeks.
10 days in Florida.
It's like your longest vacation ever.
Oh, no. Remember 2.
Oh, you went for a month.
I was gone for a month to Germany.
Yeah.
Big family reunion in Florida for 10 days. Then my family, who lives in Germany, is coming to our house for 10 days. So gone totally for 10 days and then around and available, but I don't have a clue when yet. So.
All right. So.
Could be that Wednesday.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. We'll try and make it happen. We'll let you know. We'll put the alert out, the bat light on YouTube and just try to tune in for that. And like I said, for a 50th, we had a giveaway, I think. So we'll try to do something fun too.
I like your idea of getting our followers to DoorDash or something.
Oh, yes.
They're like, well, maybe I could have some pizza here. And Mark says, oh, we'll get him to DoorDash it to us.
That'd be kind of cool.
From the place next door.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not that pizza.
Yeah, DoorDash. Yeah, that's an idea. You know how some YouTube things have like, donate now. And we just have a button that says, buy us dinner.
Yeah, Luigi's
delivers
pizza.
All right, so it's wrap it up time just about. If no one else has anything else to add, we're gonna do the wrap it up. Do the tighten up.
I was trying to think of the wrap it up.
Oh, the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds. Wrap it up. Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah, that one.
Wrap it up. Kim Wilson.
Yeah,
that guy can sing like nobody.
I heard him take a 5-minute harmonica solo.
Yeah,
which I thought
didn't play the same note twice.
Before I was going to hear a 5-minute harmonica solo, I would have gone to the bathroom.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah. His playing, just out of this world too. His harmonica playing, is amongst the best.
He can play the harp.
And you remember about 15 years ago. Just don't mention Jimmy in front of him. He's still holding a grudge. No, he came to record at our studio here.
Oh, that's right. He was around. Yes.
And because John Ross played bass for him for a while, for his solo band, not for the Thunder. Well, he did some Thunderbirds.
Yeah, the solo album or something.
And just an amazing player, singer, nice guy. So wrap it up. Archie Bell, tighten up. Yeah, that's what I said. Do the tighten up.
Archie Bell and the Drells.
Hogan's Hideout just got here. Yeah, just watch it and just pretend it's live. Yeah, and we dance as good as we want. As always, we're Archie Bell and the Drells from Dallas, Texas, or whatever he says. Somewhere in Texas, and we don't only play, we dance as good as we want.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. That's a great song. If you haven't heard that, folks, go listen to that. So, thanks everyone for watching. We're Probably back next week for sure, and then maybe a week off, and then we got a 100th episode, fun time. And so go to the Instagram, check out the other YouTube videos, watch me rant about capos and intonation, watch my new review of the new Fender Bassbreaker 007, their new low watt amp.
Was that
That's-
that little guy? I saw
Yeah, that
over
little
there?
thing.
Oh,
It's fun. It's like a little Marshall.
heard
It's a
that yet.
tiny Marshall. It sounds, it only does overdrive. But go watch the video and find out about that. And thanks for watching. And stand by for the end.
the end.
This is the end.
Well, except for the next 2 episodes.
I mean, the end of the episode. Say
Right.
good night, Gary.
Good night.
Yeah.